welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Kaya and today I'm going to be doing a pretty exciting video, one that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and I've built up, I guess, a little bit of a list. So while I was in Milan, I did a lot of things that were really quite memorable, and I guess at first glance Milan might seem a little bit of like a boring city, but there are a lot of hidden gems that you really have to discover and that you do discover over, you know, a certain amount of time of being there. But it's one of those places where you either want to stay either a weekend or a few days or like a year like I did. So I guess it's not really a place that you would spend like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. You'd really want to spend, I guess, kind of a long time there to really get used to the magic of the city and everything that it has to offer. So I wanted to make a little list for those of you because I know a lot of you who would be going to Milan might just be going for a few days, and you might just want like a really concise list of things, of recommendations that you want to do while you're there, or you want to do to, I guess, like fill your time, fill your days. So I've built up a few things, not too many, but little things that I guess would suit a lot of different people's traveling styles, and things like that. So they're kind of like, I guess, universal things that everyone might like to do, or there's an option for everyone basically. So I'm just gonna get straight into them. I'm gonna start with, I guess, a quite obvious one, what Milan is, I guess, famous for, which is the Duomo and the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele. So these are, yeah, two quite obvious, I guess, Milanese icons of the city, and there are a few things that you should definitely do within these places while you're in Milan. So in the Galleria, it's obviously like a shopping gallery. You have like Prada, Gucci, Versace, and Louis Vuitton and things like that. And on the ground of the gallery, they have this mosaic of a bull, and local legend has it that if you put your heel on the bull's testicles and spin around, I think it's 3 times, then it's gonna give you good luck. And you'll see a lot of people just like spinning around on the bull all the time, which is quite funny to watch. It's actually suffered quite a lot of damage, the poor bull. So yeah, still something to do while you're in the gallery for some good luck while you're in Italy. And also, obviously, another thing to do while you're in the Duomo area is to walk up to the top to the like the balcony area of the Duomo. So you can like climb up the Duomo, and then once you get to the top, it's like this beautiful view. You can see like the whole square, and yeah, it's just a must do. You have to do that while you're there, and you can see everything. It's like the most beautiful view ever, and you can get some stunning photos. I would recommend doing it like around sunset or really early in the morning, for the best, I guess, photo opportunities, if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, beautiful any time of day, any season, definitely have to do that. Now the second one, even though I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks coffee, Milan has a Starbucks roastery, essentially, right in the middle of the city. In Cordusio, near Piazza Cordusio, which is basically across the road from the Duomo. And even if you don't buy coffee there, even if you don't like Starbucks coffee, which I'm not a huge fan of myself, but even just to go in there and have a look and walk around, they have like all the food displayed, and it's absolutely huge. You have to go in there to see it. But yeah, it's really, really cool if you're right in the middle of the city and just want something to look at. And even if you don't want to sit inside, if you're sick of sitting inside, they have a beautiful courtyard just right outside near the concrete stairs. And they've got plants, and it's like shaded, and you can just sit there and people watch. You can do work there. I went there quite a lot to do uni work because it was like a nice, I guess, quiet place to do work and things like that. And they have free Wi-Fi, of course. So yeah, I really loved it for that reason. So the next place on my list is Brera Design District, which is located just outside of the main city centre. I was lucky enough actually to be in Milan during Design Week, which is actually the world's largest annual design gathering, located right in the middle of the city. They have beautiful exhibitions and concept stores and things like that, interactive activities right around Milan, and it's like all different designers that come to showcase their work. I believe collectively it's known as Fuori Salone, and it's where designers come together from all around the world to showcase their beautiful work that they've created. And I remember it was in April, and my friends and I, we would just walk around. It would keep us occupied for hours. I think we spent basically the entire week, or at least like 4 or 5 days, just walking around, looking at everything, seeing all the beautiful designs. And they had a bunch of parties as well. I remember they had this amazing party in a garden somewhere on the green metro line, maybe Lambrate, could have been Lambrate, yeah, I think it was. And it was in this garden, and they had like a bunch of food and music, live music playing, and you could just go there and dance. It was all outdoors. It was so cool, and the weather was so nice. We got really lucky there as well. So if you're going to Milan, I would recommend going during Design Week, because it's such a spectacle. Like, you see so many cool things that you wouldn't have never expected. Like, I don't know what I was expecting from Design Week, but just going and seeing everything was so amazing and just so entertaining. So you'll be occupied for hours and days. So yeah, definitely a must-see if you're in Milan during April. The next place I want to talk about is Navigli, obviously a place that's really, really close to my heart, where I guess spent a lot of my time. I actually lived in the Navigli area, so I would go on my walks like on the canals almost every day or every other day, and it's just so beautiful to watch. And I remember I would often walk, but I'd often see people on bikes or roller skates or skateboards or anything like that, and they would just be riding up the canal. And Milan's really, really good because it's so flat. Like, you won't come across many hills, if any at all. So riding a bike around the city is so easy, and I guess relatively safe. You just have to be careful. The only thing I guess I would say if you do hire a bike is be really careful of the tram tracks, because they have trams that go all around the city, and sometimes the tires can get stuck, like the bike tires can get stuck in the tram tracks. But other than that, like, if you're careful, you should be fine. But I really love Milan for this reason as well, because they have like just a bunch of hire bikes around the city, which is so good because so many people just take advantage and make use of it. Which is obviously so much better for the environment. And they also have those little like smart cars as well, which you can hire around Milan as well. So I guess that was something that I wasn't expecting either. I just kind of thought of Milan as like this big industrial city that perhaps wasn't as environmentally friendly as I thought. But I guess as you live there for a while and you like talk to people, and they also have the Bosco Verticale, which I'll also talk about in this video. But to just like hire a bike, ride through the Navigli, especially during the springtime, is a must. While you're in the Navigli as well, and while I'm on this topic, I want to recommend to you guys to have a look at the secondhand bookstores along the Navigli canals. So you can just like prop your bike up along the fence line and just walk into the bookstores. It's so cool because they have some really, really good deals on books. And it's so fun just having a look around, having an explore. I found it to be, I guess, quite a good way to just flick through the books. And also it's an amazing way as well to practice your Italian if you're wanting to do that as well, which I definitely was. And although they have a lot of Italian books, they also do have a lot of English books as well. And they also have a chain of bookstores in Milan called Mondadori, which have a bunch of obviously English written books as well as Italian written books as well. But yeah, I would recommend to you guys as an experience just to like walk into all the secondhand bookstores. They have a bunch of gelato along the Navigli canals as well, so definitely worth like hiring a bike. They have the Bike Me app, so if you just download it on your phone and you like scan the barcode on the bike, I think it unlocks it, and then you can kind of just like, when you're finished with the bike, when you're finished with your ride, you can just kind of like leave it in different parts around the city. and then other people can kind of like pick it up and ride, for example. So you don't actually have to take it all the way back to where you got it from. The next place that I want to talk about, which is something that I touched on a little bit before, is the Bosco Verticale, which basically in English means the vertical forest. And it's this massive building, which is, I guess it's in Porta Garibaldi, which is called Porta Nuova, in Milan, which is like the new port. So you walk in there and it kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen Darling Harbour, those of you from Sydney, it kind of is similar to that, in that it's a contrast from like city Milan, because that's all kind of like old buildings and things like that, whereas you contrast it with Porta Garibaldi or Porta Nuova, and it's like all new buildings, and it reminds me so much of Sydney. They have this like water feature right in the middle of the like shopping area, and then you keep walking along the path and you get to this beautiful park, and next to it is like this big tall building, which is, it's not a skyscraper, but it's like definitely taller than a lot of buildings in Milan, and it's just covered in plants. It's so beautiful, and I think we actually have one across the road from UTS, my uni in Sydney. It's similar to that. It's a building of apartments. It actually symbolizes Milan's sustainable development. So I think it's overgrown with something like 800 trees, 5,000 shrubs, and I think 110,000 ground covers, which is designed to clean the air, keep the air clean and fresh in Milan, which is such a nice idea. It's such a nice place to go to have a picnic and just sit and people watch, and you can bring like some snacks and some champagne or something and just sit there. And it's a really kind of peaceful park. It's a really peaceful part of town, which I love. The next place I'm going to recommend to you guys is City Life. So it's in Tre Torri, which is on the purple metro line, and it's actually the largest urban district dedicated to shopping in Italy. So it's quite impressive, and again, like Porta Nuova, it's such a contrast to our normal city Milan, because it's so new, and it's perfect to go for a picnic, or if you just want to like go and have a walk to have a look. They have like tennis courts, and there's people always playing tennis and walking around. And the apartment buildings are just so impressive. They're so cool. It's worth it even just to like go and have a look, go and have a walk around, because it's so interesting to me. So yeah, definitely check out Tre Torri. I'll insert some photos as well of City Life. It's part of, I guess, Milan's goal to keep striving to be like an international city, hence the name City Life, because it's in English, obviously. The last recommendation on my Milan bucket list is to have a picnic in Parco Sempione, which is Milan's main park. It's a really, really big park, so you can either get off at Cadorna metro station or Brera, and it kind of is they're on opposite ends of the park. So you can just like walk through the park. They have a bunch of like little places you can get a drink or a coffee. They have a bar in there called Bar Bianco, which they open, I guess, during the spring and summertime. And you can have like aperitivo there, have a dance like in the middle of the park. And they have this like big pond, like a lake thing in the middle with seating all around it that you can just like sit there, have a chat. I remember when the weather started getting warmer in Milan, we would often go to the park just to sunbake or to have a picnic or just to chill with friends and things like that. So yeah, you definitely have to go to Parco Sempione if you want to relax, if you had a big day of shopping in the city or something like that. It's a beautiful place to go just to wind down and have a bit of a rest for a while. And you can walk there from the Duomo as well. It's not that far. It's maybe like 15-20 minute walk. So definitely recommend that. But that's where I'm going to end today's video, guys. I really hope it was helpful and that you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for new videos every week. I upload every 3 days or so. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you very soon in my next one. Bye.
That was not cool, they throw it off us, and I know it, forget window.